Hey everyone, welcome back to Dennis Halandzovskyi channel. If you want to stay ahead of the most important geopolitical stories, the ones that truly shape our future, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the like button. Your support helps us grow and keeps these deep dive investigations alive. Now let's get into today's breaking story. The geopolitical landscape shifted again this week after former US President Donald Trump expressed disappointment that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has not yet reviewed what Trump describes as his personal proposal for negotiations with Russia. The remark, made during an interview with Fox News, revived Trump's claim that he could end the conflict within 24 hours. He once again declined to provide any details, saying the plan would only be revealed if he returned to the White House. Trump's comments carried a tone of impatience and suggested that Ukraine may be overlooking an opportunity to pursue peace. However, he offered no acknowledgement of the significant risks involved in negotiating with Russia while the war is ongoing. The implication that he alone can secure a settlement without explaining what that settlement entails places pressure on Kiev at a time when transparency is essential. President Zelenskyy has repeatedly stated that Ukraine cannot accept any arrangement that compromises its sovereignty, territorial integrity, or long-term security. Kyiv's position remains consistent. Negotiations require a full withdrawal of Russian forces, an end to missile strikes, and the cessation of occupation. Without these conditions, Ukrainian officials argue that any agreement would be untenable. Trump's frustration appears rooted in the fact that Ukraine has not aligned itself with his narrative of being the sole architect of a possible peace deal. The absence of engagement with his undisclosed proposal challenges the image he has cultivated as a decisive dealmaker. For Ukraine, the potential dangers are considerable. A hastily constructed peace plan could formalize the current front lines, legitimize Russian control over occupied territories, or force concessions that Moscow has been unable to secure militarily. Officials in Kyiv are well aware of the history, the Minsk agreements, repeated ceasefire attempts, and various negotiation formats that ultimately failed to halt Russian aggression. Ukraine maintains that Moscow often uses diplomacy as a strategic tool rather than a genuine path to peace. Trump's remarks are also directed at a domestic audience. As the US election cycle intensifies, he is positioning himself as a leader with exclusive solutions. The ambiguity surrounding his plan raises concerns that a future US administration under his leadership could re-evaluate military support for Ukraine, potentially making it conditional on Kyiv entering negotiations. The timing of these comments is notable. Ukraine continues to seek additional Western support, particularly air defense systems and artillery supplies. Any suggestion that US assistance may become contingent on political decisions in Kyiv creates uncertainty that Ukraine and its partners can ill afford. In essence, Trump's expression of disappointment is not merely an emotional reaction. It represents a strategic signal, one that could influence expectations in Washington, Moscow, and Kyiv alike. Trump's recent statement must be viewed within the broader geopolitical context. By publicly criticizing Zelenskyy for not engaging with his proposal, he is shaping the narrative around Ukraine's responsibilities and signaling that negotiations with Russia may be more feasible under his leadership. For Moscow, these signals are significant. Each time Trump suggests that Ukraine should negotiate swiftly or smartly, the Kremlin interprets this as confirmation that Western cohesion may weaken over time. Russian officials have long believed that domestic divisions in the United States could eventually pressure Ukraine into accepting territorial concessions. Ukraine, however, does not share this assessment. For Kyiv, the war is existential. Since the full-scale invasion in 2022, Russia has demonstrated no willingness to halt its military operations or reduce its political ambitions. Ukrainian leaders argue that any negotiation which leaves Russian forces in control of occupied areas merely postpones further conflict. This is likely why Zelenskyy has not rushed to examine Trump's proposal. Ukrainian officials insist that any pathway to peace must include firm security guarantees and a durable framework, not unspecified plans that may freeze the conflict or reduce Western support. From Kyiv's perspective, peace without security is unsustainable. Trump's suggestion that he alone can resolve the conflict has raised additional concerns among analysts. It implies a personalized approach to diplomacy that may prioritize domestic political gains over Ukraine's long-term security. A rapid peace deal could appeal to American voters fatigued by foreign policy commitments, but might ultimately favor Moscow's strategic objectives. European governments are also monitoring the situation closely. There is growing concern that a potential Trump administration could adjust US military support or seek to pressure Ukraine into negotiations. Such a shift would have serious implications for European security and could embolden other authoritarian states. At the same time, Zelensky faces a delicate diplomatic challenge. Criticizing Trump risks alienating a potential future US leader, yet appearing too receptive to an unspecified proposal could undermine confidence within Ukraine and among its partners. The government must balance diplomatic caution with the immediate needs of wartime governance. The episode highlights the fragility of Western support and the degree to which US political dynamics influence the trajectory of the war. Trump's remarks send a message not only to Kyiv, but also to Moscow, which may interpret them as an opportunity to intensify military actions in pursuit of greater leverage ahead of any future talks. Ultimately, Ukraine's position remains unchanged. Any resolution must be just, secure, and lasting. Until more details about Trump's plan emerge, Kyiv's most realistic option is to maintain a cautious approach while continuing its military and diplomatic efforts. Thanks for watching Denis Halandzovskyi channel. If you found this analysis useful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts below. Your engagement helps this channel grow and brings more attention to the stories that truly matter. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you in the next episode.